Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you again, or nice to see you again.
Nice to see you.
How have you been?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. So I do want to let you know, like we discussed last time, that anything we discuss here would, stay with us. There are limitations to all the stuff we discuss.
Mhm.
Like if I feel that you are a threat to yourself or others, then I may have to get help or disclose some stuff that we discuss. However, a lot of or all of our conversations are confidential, okay? And I also want to let you know that you are more than welcome to, end services if you want to. Not that I want you to, but if you feel like I'm not fulfilling your needs, you could, discuss it with me. We can work on it. But if you, just feel like this is not it for you, you have the autonomy to end it or move on to someone else. But I hope that doesn't happen. So what are I was thinking, did you work on your goals last time we met?
A little bit.
Okay, so I know last time we met, we talked about your eating habits and how a lot of times food are not appealing to you, no matter how they're prepared and all that. But you weren't concerned, but your family were concerned about your weight. And that's something that you wanted to work on because they were concerned about it. So what are some stuff that you think, what are some steps that you think you could take to achieve that?
Eat more.
Okay, so here's what I was thinking. I was thinking today we can create maybe a goal, because eat more is just, pretty vague. Because no, going off of what you told me, like eating more would be something that you probably still would struggle with, right? So like how can we narrow that eating more down? Like how can we be more specific and goal oriented to achieve that, to achieve the goal that you want? What is the goal that you want? Okay, so like how can we be more specific in eating more to gain weight?
Having access to the food that I like.
Okay, so having access to the food that you like will help you eat more. So, okay, so our first, thing that we've established is if you have access to the food that you like, will make you eat more. Correct me if I'm wrong, last time we met, you said preparation wasn't a problem, but I think a lot of times you wanted something from your culture. So do you think that's something that you want, like when you say access to the food that you like specify that for me, like help me understand that. Is it like your culture food or just any
It
type
can
of?
be culture food or it could be any type of food. It's just more of what my taste buds, or I should say my body's craving for that specific moment.
Okay, so here's what I'm understanding, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to have access, you want to eat more, and in order to eat more, you would want to have access to the food that you like. So if you had those, right, like how many times a day do you envision yourself eating if you had access to the food that you like? Do you envision yourself eating like once a day, twice a day, or like how would you achieve
Probably eat 3 times a day.
3 times a day? Okay, so you would eat 3 times a day to achieve your weight goal. What is your weight gain goal?
10, 15 pounds.
Okay, so about 10 to 15 pounds. Time frame.
Not on a specific time frame.
Okay, so you don't have a time frame. So here's what I know so far about goal setting. We would have to be more specific in some sense, like, so that you're more successful, right? Because if you,
Pretty much I'm saying I'm just not in a rush to hit that 15 pounds in like a month, or I should say 2 months.
okay,
Yeah, I have time.
okay, and that's fine, right? But like, to be more realistic, it's okay to you may not be in a rush, which is fine. Like, we don't want you to be in the rush, but in order for you to achieve your goal, like I would want you to achieve your goal. Because if we just leave it open and not have a specific time frame, then what are you working for? Like, how are you going to accomplish that, right? So like, what do you think?
4 months.
Okay, so we want to gain 10 to 15 pounds in 4 months. And in order to gain 10 to 15 pounds in 4 months, we want food that we like, right? So how do you gain access to the food that you like? Is it you that's gonna do the grocery shopping, your wife? Like, what are the steps that you're gonna take to gain access to the food that you like to ensure that you're eating 3 times a week?
Whoever does shopping,
Okay,
so it could be me, it could be her,
okay. So you're gonna,
whoever ends up at this store, I guess I should say.
okay, so you're gonna, basically, I guess what I'm asking you, Kevin, is like, what steps are you gonna take to ensure that you're getting those specific food, right? Because say, are you making grocery lists, or are you telling your wife like, okay, hey, when you go to the store, this is what I need you to get, kind of thing like that?
Yeah, I mean. And they're part of their, we usually have those foods.
Okay, see, that's what I was getting at, right? Because I know when we met last time, the food wasn't a problem, right? Like you had access to the food, you had access to all the stuff that you want. You just your taste bud just wasn't accepting it, right? So I guess what I am, trying to get you to understand or see is you can have all the groceries, right? Like what are other things that you could potentially do? So like you get the specific food, right? That's a good thing. We want our specific food. We want to gain 10 pounds within 4 months. But what if you do have the food, right? You have the food that you like. What is going to motivate you to actually eat the food?
The fact that the food is being cooked will make me eat it, because when I smell certain food, my taste buds wake up type of deal.
Okay. Okay. Well,
That's why I don't like to go to restaurants, because I don't ever smell the food getting cooked.
right. And sometimes you do, right? Like sometimes if you're
It
walking.
smell like a whole bunch of food mixed. And
Yeah.
that's a turn off to me.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Okay, so just for clarity, right, just to make sure we are, getting a visual picture of what we're, what the goals will be and what steps we would take, right? So, I might be, being redundant, forgive me here, but I just want to make sure we get it. So our goal is to gain 10 or 15 pounds within 4 months, right? And to gain 10 or 15 pounds in 4 months, we're going to eat 3 times a day, our desired food. So what do you think could be a problem with that goal? Like say if you don't have your desired food, what are some obstacles that you think will affect you gaining weight within the 4 months?
Not having to desire food when I want the food, and the 3 times a day thing.
Okay,
People have lives, no, it's not like people sit there and cook food. It's not like they run a restaurant.
right,
So that's pretty much
okay,
where the gap would be.
okay. So Kevin, do you mind if I suggest this, all right? Because I know you want to eat 3 times a day and you want your desirable food. Like I'm just trying to come from, like I want you to be able to succeed, right? So like coming from a more realistic standpoint, like you just said, people have a busy day. People may not be able to cook food for you, like breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Have you ever thought about like prepping food? Like, you know what I mean? So that way it's ready and then, you just have access to it. Like, hey, it's 8 o'clock, it's breakfast time, or it's noon, lunchtime. Like, do you think?
That's where the gap is, and that's probably why they're trying to send me to therapy, is because I can't cook, I can't eat what I cook.
Okay, well, not you, you know what I mean? Like your wife, right? Like, have you ever thought about discussing with your wife in ways that you could, like, to be successful, we have to, check all these boxes in order to be successful. So if we want to eat 3 times a day and maybe wife is not home at noon, then, there's an obstacle right there, right?
I mean, the noon part I don't mind. What I really care to have is have access to breakfast and dinner.
Okay, so how do we have access to breakfast and dinner? So would you be open to the idea of like, bringing it up to your wife or maybe helping her out?
What do
with
you
the
mean bringing it up?
the meal prep, to prep it so that way your food is prepped, right? You've heard of meal prepping, right? You get your food prepped, That way, when you're ready for it or when you want it, breakfast and dinner, that maybe your wife is available to make breakfast, right? But she's doing something else that she cannot make dinner. But if you have prepared your dinner the night before or a couple of days before, all you have to do is go to the fridge, heat it up, and you have it, right? So that's a way that we could target our goal, right? In order to like, gain the 10 to 15 pounds within 4 months, right? We can, target that by saying, okay, I want to eat 3 times a day, but I understand that my wife or I may not be able to make meals 3 times a day. But what I could do is on Sunday, I can create my meals for the week. So that way, when I want it, I have it. Does that sound cool?
Yeah.
So basically, let's go over it one more time and then, then we can, so we want to gain 10 to 15 pounds within 4 months, right? In order to gain our 10 to 15 pounds, we're going to try to eat 3 times a day, right? But minimum, we're going to do breakfast and dinner, right? And in order to meet that, we're going to practice prepping our meals, right? Awesome. Well, I'm glad we were able to do that, right? So then the next time we visit, we're gonna, if you, start that and you see like you're struggling with it, we can always revisit it and like, modify as needed. You can create a visual and, we can also definitely work on all those things, okay? So do you have any other questions for me, Kevin? This is where we end. I just wanted to leave time for you to discuss any questions, any concerns.
Nothing at the moment.
Okay, well, Kevin, it was really nice seeing you again. I am like so excited to help you on this journey, and I look forward to meeting you next week. Okay, see you next week, same time.
Sweet.
Thank you.